Good morning, friends. Happy Friday, or Fry-yay, as my kids like to say. I'm Shelly with Art for My Table, where I help you decide what is for dinner or what's the next thing you're going to eat. So today we are cooking a lovely traditional Irish dish. So let me quick get my notifications out and then we will start cooking. We're going to start out with some bacon, and I'm going to just start heating my pan a little bit here. And then I'll do that little computer thing. All right, so thanks for joining us. I feel like my camera's a little crooked today. I have been having some technical difficulties setting up my camera and getting everything to work properly today. So it's St. Patrick's Day this weekend. So what are you guys doing? How are you celebrating? I would love to know what you got going on. And it's on a weekend too, so I know for some people they really enjoy going out and doing that sort of thing. So let me know what you're up to. We're getting there. It always takes longer than I want. So, hey, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Okay. Okay, if you guys want to be notified every time I go live, make sure that you are liking and following the page Art for My Table, and that you're signed up for notifications, and then you'll always know. I do typically go live the same time every single week, but by subscribing, then you'll just get notified automatically. All right, this is coming up nicely. I make sure I get my pan good and hot. That's the secret for not having your stuff stick, is make sure your pan is good and hot. All right, so no plans this weekend. What are you guys doing this weekend? St. Patrick's Day. We don't have a lick of Irish in us, but we're gonna have a St. Patrick's Day meal. We're gonna have this dish, and my kids really, really like it. All right, so we are starting out with some bacon. Did I tell you what we're making? We're making shepherd's pie. I'm so sorry if I left that out. I have linked the recipe for you in the description of this video. Sizzle, sizzle. So you'll be able to find it. And if you go ahead and just share this video to your page, then you'll be able to find it really easy access. So, or, you know, maybe you have a friend or someone that likes to watch live cooking or would enjoy this recipe. I would love it if you would just share it, period. And that helps you to know where it is, helps me. Hey, Kristen. Helps me to grow my page. So anyway, so all I'm doing first is I am sauteing bacon. This is 4 strips of bacon. And excuse me one second, my son's helping me. Did that one go off?
Well, it was going to be.
Oh, okay. I've got 2 timers going. Sorry about that. So we're just sauteing some bacon here. It's 4 strips of bacon, and I just cut them into like little snippets. And I want these to just get nice and brown. And I like my bacon kind of crispy, but it's actually, yes please, it's actually going to cook a little longer. Does that make sense? Oh my gosh. Live. Okay, so let me say that over again, even though there's no editing. I'm going to edit it right here live. I like my bacon a little crispy, but you don't want it to be too crisp because this is also going to go in the oven. So Let me check on my potatoes 1 second. Alright, so on my other stove, I have some potatoes and some garlic. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. And right now, just sauteing this bacon. And so, of course, the house smells amazing. Hey there, thanks for joining us. So I'd love to know where you're tuning in from. I'd love to know what your plans are this weekend. At our house, we just really like having a reason to celebrate. So, what I did a few years ago was a mystery dinner for our family, and we actually invited some brave friends over, and we had this mystery dinner. So what the mystery dinner was I made up this menu of, we had this shepherd's pie, and we had like cornbread, and we had like a spoon cornbread. I think we had fruit skewers. So, hi Brandy from Southern Cal. I bet it's nice there. It's actually nice here today too, but it's cold. And so I made up this, like all these different foods, but I gave them all funny names. So I think we had this, we had the spoon cornbread, we had salads, like I put them in a mason jar, and it was all green. It was like lettuce, cucumbers, whatever you can, think of that was celery, green vegetables. And we had dessert. What did we have for dessert? I can't remember. Oh, I think we had like a McDonald's shamrock shake, except it wasn't from McDonald's, it was homemade. And I called it something else. So everything had funny names, including some of the utensils. So I gave the menu to everyone, and they had to fill out their first course, second course, third course, and fourth course, and what they wanted. But they really had no idea what they were ordering. So, like, some were like, ooh, shamrock shake. That's what I called the salad in a jar with shamrock shake. And so it had dressing, and you had to shake it up, and then you could eat it. And so, they were a little disappointed when they ordered shamrock shake and then found salad. Not terribly, I mean, they ate it. Or you might have gotten your salad before you got your fork. And so it's just like a wacky, crazy mystery dinner, and my kids absolutely loved it. They ask me for it every year, but we haven't done it since because I just feel like I'd have to think up all new stuff, So anyway, my bacon is getting nice and brown and crispy. Not terribly crispy, but enough. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this over and set it aside into a separate dish. So I'm going to use a slotted spoon. Now when I was growing up, we had shepherd's pie, but it was very different from this. I mean, it was still a layered dish with meat and potatoes, but I think we did, so my mom did ground beef on the bottom, and then canned green beans, like string beans. Sorry. I don't really love canned vegetables very much. I much prefer frozen, but that's just me. I guess it all depends on what you're raised on. And really, I wasn't really raised on canned vegetables, but that is what she used in the recipe. And for the potatoes on top, she used potato buds. Again. Now, if you use them and you love them, I hope I have not offended you. I'm going with onions here. These are a couple of onions and that are just diced up. 2 onions. And I just left the bacon drippings in the pan. And so that's going to give us enough oil. And now we want to saute these until they're tender. I hope you guys can hear me okay. I feel like the sizzling is overtaking my voice. So, all right, so back to the shepherd's pie I grew up with. Yeah, potato buds. So if you don't like those, I hope I didn't offend you. However, all growing up as a kid, I never liked mashed potatoes, which is crazy because most kids love mashed potatoes. I never liked them, probably because they were potato buds. They weren't like fresh, right? They weren't fresh real potatoes. I don't really know what's in there. Maybe it's just potato flakes or dehydrated, but they were always like thick and dry, and I know it works great like as a thickener and stuff, but anyway, so that's one thing that you'll probably never ever see in my pantry is potato butts. So this one time I was at a friend's house for Thanksgiving, and it was just like a Friendsgiving before it actually had a name. And hey Katie, thanks for joining us. And she had made, you know, mashed potatoes, like the real way, the real mashed potatoes. And so I took some just to be polite, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is like the best thing I've ever tasted. They were so good. So from that day forward, I finally figured out that it was probably that I just wasn't having the real thing. Okay, these are coming along nicely, and I'm going to add just a teaspoon of sugar to them, which is going to just caramelize a little bit. And we'll give that another little stir, and then we're going to add our ground beef. Okay, so can you guys see what I'm doing? Okay. Hi, Gina from Arkansas. Thank you for joining us. I use my computer to kind of as a monitor here so I can make sure you can see everything. So if you can't see something, just let me know. Maybe I can tilt this down. I didn't want to cut my head off too much, but I'm sure you'd rather see the food than my head. All right, so now I'm just gonna kind of push my onions off to the side, and there's definitely some brown bits on the bottom, which is fine. That's gonna come out in a little bit when we deglaze the pan with our Irish, well, I don't know if it's Irish, but it is, right? Dark beer. So we're gonna put that in a few minutes. So, hey Vanessa. Wow, girl, long time no talk. How are you? So I'm going to add my ground beef next. I just push my onions off to the side initially. More sizzle, sizzle. And this is one of my favorite, like, just easy kitchen utensils. To be honest with you, I don't even know what it's called. I call it the meat chopper, but it's from Pampered Chef. Aw, thanks Vanessa. I'm happy to cook, actually. I really enjoy it. Especially when it's not 5 o'clock and I have to have dinner on the table in a half an hour. This is a little bit more relaxed, shall we say, rather than having people run around. Oh, yes, this is from, Vanessa, if you're asking about this, it's from Pampered Chef. And you could look on Amazon because I'm sure there's probably other companies that make it, although I will say this is really, I mean, Pampered Chef is a great brand, and it's really sturdy. And I understand you can use it for a lot of other things too. However, I've actually only ever used it to break up my meat, but it works really, really good. And especially if I'm doing like super large batches of meat, it's just really helpful. So this shouldn't take too much longer to brown, and then we're gonna add some more things to this. So traditionally, shepherd's pie is actually made with lamb, and I'm using ground beef. You could also use ground turkey if you wanted to. You know, it's always going to alter the flavor just a little bit. But we always just called it shepherd's pie. So, and then I believe if you use ground beef, it's actually called cottage pie. But we just grew up with the name shepherd's pie, so that's just kind of, it sticks. So, yeah, you're welcome, Vanessa. It's really nice. And you probably know a Pampered Chef consultant too that could get you one. So that's the brand of this one, and I really like it. But I know nowadays, like with Amazon Prime, right? You can have anything in 2 days, and I love that. Just takes a little longer to send things back. I ordered my girls some cowboy boots they had a daddy-daughter dance last weekend, and it was boots and bling, so they wore like these cute, frilly little dresses with some cowboy boots, and so I ordered 3 pairs of cowboy boots, and 2 of them were the wrong size, which I usually don't have any trouble with Amazon doing that, but that's what happened. All right, let me check on my potatoes really quick, and then we're going to come back and add some more things to this. Just going to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, my potatoes are doing good. We'll talk about those in a little bit. While this is kind of simmering, I'm going to work on the potatoes. This is one of my other favorite kitchen utensils. This is by Earlywood Designs, and it's a wooden saute. Why can I not think of the actual name? Anyways, really, really, really nice products. They make all these wood products, and they're beautiful, and I absolutely love using it. It's great. All right, so now that we have this, we're going to add our carrots, peas, and garlic. And so you need 1 3/4 cups of carrots and peas. And I just buy the blend that's already done, that's frozen, and that makes it super easy. But you could always dice up carrots if you needed to and use frozen peas. So, spatula patty. It is a spatula patty, but they, like Earlywood Designs, actually has a specific name for this one. So that's what I couldn't remember. And here's my garlic. This is 2 garlic cloves, just minced. So we get those out. And then just stir this and let it get a little fragrant. So this is going to go in the oven. So you don't have to worry about everything like being fully cooked right now like your vegetables. So after we give that a little stir, then we're going to add some tomato paste and some flour. So about 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. Whenever I open a can of tomato paste and you need like 2 tablespoons and it's like 8 ounces, I always just freeze it in like a plastic bag, and then I can just grab it and use more. So come on, get out of there. Okay. So about 2 tablespoons is what you want. This went much smoother earlier. All right. I know, like, who wants to sit there and watch me squeeze that out? All right. And then I have just a tablespoon of flour. And I'm also going to add a teaspoon of salt that I'm not measuring. All right, so we're going to stir this all up. Get that tomato paste nice and incorporated. And I just have my pan on like a medium heat right now. The beef is already cooked. The vegetables are flying in there. We just want this to blend in. And now we're going to add our dark beer. So if you have a favorite dark beer or ale or something that you like, you know, it probably doesn't even have to be dark beer, and I'm sure that you guys probably know a lot more about beer than I do because I don't drink it. However, I know that it does add a lot to a dish. So, let's add that now. So I am using, this is Bell's, and it's porter. It's probably backwards for you guys, but this is a local brewery that makes this, so they're just on the other side of town for me, so we love to support our local people. And we're just going to pour this in. You can see how dark it is? Looks like Coke. It's foaming up like Coke too. So we're going to add in our beer. Stir this around. I'm going to bring that, I want to bring this back up to a simmer. So I increased my heat just a little bit. And now this has also helped to deglaze the bottom of the pan, so where it was, those brown bits were collecting, all that yumminess is just getting incorporated now. Incorporated. Alright, so a lot of you know that my son helps me out sometimes in the kitchen, so I'm going to call for him a second. Joshua? Did you want to help out with something, or are you busy?
I can help out with something.
Come say hi. Hi. So that needs some fresh grated Parmesan cheese. So we have our little grater. I think you'll need to open a new package. Gina. Yes. Yes, it would be great in a tube, wouldn't it, Gina? That is brilliant. Do they make it in a tube? I've never seen it. We should look on Amazon. But yeah, I do freeze it. And then last year, I made some of my own tomato paste and froze it, and I did it in a lot of different measurements. So, because sometimes something might call for, I think like when I make barbecue sauce, then it's like 6 or 8 ounces a cup. And so I will, I had some measurements like that, and then I had some that were just like a couple tablespoons for things like this. So that was really nice. And you know, making my own paste was super easy. How you doing?
Good.
You got it all sprinkled on there?
No, I'm still
Oh. He's right here. Will you bring that over? This is a really nice Parmesan cheese grater. So, like, you take your whole Parmesan cheese, you know, like the block of it, not pre-shredded, and you just pop it in there, and there's a grater right in there. And then you press on this, and see if you guys can see this coming out. Let me check on the monitor. I might be able to show you. Can you see it in there? So this is like what they use in the restaurant when they're like, hey, would you like some cheese on that? And they hold it over. So he was just turning it and getting some ready. See that? You just turn it and it grates. And then you spill it on your counter and your glasses fog up. So just go ahead and sprinkle that all over the top till it looks good. And this is simmering nicely. So now we're going to add in some beef broth. This is a half a cup. And some rosemary. This is fresh rosemary, about a teaspoon that I just minced up this morning. You could use dried rosemary if you didn't have fresh rosemary. You may want to adjust the amount that you use, unless you just really love rosemary, which I do. So this is smelling phenomenal. So at this point, what I want it to happen is I just want to let this simmer, and this sauce is going to get nice, or this filling is going to get nice and thick. So what I'm going to do is just take a minute to move this off the camera, and then I'm going to pull in a KitchenAid, and we're going to work on the mashed potatoes, which is the topping of this, and they're garlic mashed potatoes, so yay for garlic. Who loves garlic? Give me thumbs up and hearts if you love garlic. you too. My husband's leaving for the weekend, so he's saying goodbye.
Thumbs up because I love garlic.
Oh, you're hilarious. You're not leaving right now? Who's like this behind the... There. Look at all them garlic lovers. All right, how's that looking there? Good. Good. Okay. So I'll talk a little bit more about the cheese on the top. Oh my goodness, tons of thumbs up and hearts. I love it. I'm just gonna move this out of the frame, and then I'm gonna move my KitchenAid over and get rid of some of these dishes here. Condensing. Oh, we have to add our bacon back in. I almost forgot. We don't want to forget that. So, bacon's back in. Let me give that a quick stir. Hello. Eat the bacon. Oh, Gina, you found a tube at Home Goods. They're few and far between. I'm going to look on Amazon. That's brilliant. Although I do have some in my freezer, so I probably don't need to worry about it. But that would be a very nice, convenient solution. All right, so I like to do my potatoes in my KitchenAid. So that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna grab those from the stove and strain them a second, and now I will be right back. Get all the water out. Okay, so what I did here was, let me move this over, like steam everywhere. Here we go. Okay, so what I did was, this is 4 just like russet potatoes. They're peeled, and then I put them in a pan of cold water, and then I added 10 whole garlic cloves that were also peeled, and then I just boiled them like normal for getting them nice and soft for doing mashed potatoes. And so I just started that ahead of time so that I could try to make this process go faster. So when I make this not on camera, I usually just make the potatoes and then set them aside and then make the rest of it. But today I knew that had to simmer, so I wanted to, thanks for the hearts guys, I wanted to just kind of get this prepped. So they are garlic mashed potatoes, and I love doing it that way. You just throw the garlic in there and it's awesome. They just blend right in with all the potatoes. Oh, good, Patty. I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah, I had corned beef and cabbage. Like, we went to somebody's house like for a St. Patrick's Day party one time. It was like a family thing. It was really good because I didn't grow up having it. So sometimes you just sort of get stuck in your own habits. So what I've added to this is 4 tablespoons of butter that was softened. And then I'm going to do about a half a teaspoon of salt. Potatoes are usually pretty bland, so I'm going to flavor them up. And then, I'm going to take this off a second, it's in my way. And then some fresh ground pepper. A 1/4 cup of beef broth is going in here. And a half a cup of sour cream. Or you can use yogurt, like plain non-fat yogurt. Like if you want a Greek yogurt, I love. So if you want to lighten it up a little bit and add some protein, that's a great way to do it. All right, salt, pepper, got everything, and now we're just gonna whip these up with our whisk attachment. And I mean, if you like to use a paddle attachment, you totally can. I just like to use this one for mashed potatoes. I'm glad to say I'm not the only one that is doing something for to celebrate. So, hello, Mary Ann from Cincinnati. Thank you for tuning in. So, Patty Ann, okay, your name is Patty, and you have a shamrock as your picture. So, you must be Irish, I'm guessing. I had said earlier, I don't know if you were on then, not a lick of Irish. This is like Dutch with a little bit of French Canadian. But we love a reason to celebrate, so we're like, hey, St. Patrick's Day, who cares if we're not Irish? Let's just do it. Yes, you are. I thought you might be. All right, so now I've got some nice creamy garlic mashed potatoes. So I would recommend just tasting them and making sure that you have enough flavor. I gotta give this a stir a second though, because I don't want it to stick. So hang tight. Yeah, it is. It's actually sticking. I need to turn that down. Because if you don't stir it occasionally, it will burn. And that would be disappointing. Maybe another reason why I do the potatoes first and then I do this, so that I can actually not multitask and pay attention. So you don't want to have any sticking. So I usually do like a medium and just, it'll take about 15 minutes for that to thicken up. Okay, so let's see. Let's take a look at our potatoes. How's that look? Yum. And then I'm just going to taste them to make sure that they have enough salt and seasonings. Bring the camera back up. They're delicious. So I can taste the garlic. It's lovely. I do want to just get a little bit more air in them though, so I'm going to whip them a little bit more. So Patty says that she grew up eating corned beef and cabbage, and your kids don't like it, so you give them grief. So I say that's great. How old are your kids? I say keep trying. Unless they're adults, that might be kind of hard. But with my younger ones, well, all my kids actually, they're pretty good. There's not a lot they don't like. What I love is that they're just super eager to try anything new. So that really was my goal with them, is I wanted them to just be open to trying new things, because I know you're not going to like it. Oh, 16 and 14, yeah. So they're teenagers. You still have a little control, right? So like at our house, we would do like a no thank you helping. My oldest is 13. And just, not every time I served it, but every now and then, because, I would just tell them, your taste might change, you never know. And so that actually has worked out really well for them. I've got one that doesn't care for tomatoes, two that don't care for tomatoes, actually, a couple that don't care for mushrooms, but they are willing to try it in new ways, and they're willing to try new foods. We went to a restaurant a few years ago called Cowfish, and they had they had beef and fish, but we ordered some sushi as an appetizer, and every single one of my kids, they tried it, like, openly. Now, none of them liked it, but they all tried it, and I was so impressed. I was like, oh my goodness, maybe there's something to that no thank you helping. So that's really what I wanted. When I was a kid, I did not like asparagus, broccoli, mushrooms. I liked tomatoes. I mean, the list goes on. There was cauliflower, so much, stuff that I eat now, but I did not like it at all growing up. And my mother she made me sit at the table until it was gone. So if there's any tricks, I tried it. I tried to feed it to the dog. I tried to wad it up in my napkin and go to the bathroom. And say hi, Carl.
Hello.
He was packing up the boots that I ordered from Amazon. They came in the wrong size. Anyway, yeah, so it was just like this battle every time. And she, I mean, I love my mom, and she was a great cook in a lot of things. I think we preferred our vegetables different ways. Of course, I wouldn't have known at that point in time. But she boiled the asparagus, and it was mushy and stringy, and I would like to literally just be choking it down and gagging, and we had it a lot. So my thing was, you know, and even like, it's not my favorite vegetable. I will eat it now if it's cooked properly, and I have learned how to cook it properly. But I don't love it, and I think there's just too strong of a memory attached to it. So, yeah, I thought I'm not going to use that method with my kids because maybe they won't ever like the vegetable again, because that's how I was. So, you know. Okay, Marianne. I got in trouble one year. I put green food coloring in cornbread and the gravy on St. Patrick's Day. My husband hid the food coloring. The green gravy got spoiled sport. That's funny. Green food coloring in the cornbread and the gravy. Well, that's fun. That's festive. I think that that last part I'm not understanding what came through. The green gravy got, I know, it's like autocorrect, and I, for whatever reason, can't figure it out right now. So this is looking really, really good, and I'm going to pour this in the pan now and then eggs. And so what I'll do after I show that, pour this in the pan, then I'll show you the finished result. Can you hear that duct tape noise? Packing tape noise? Sorry about that. Okay. Normally my husband's at work on Fridays, but he's going on a men's retreat this weekend. So he's home this morning just getting some last things tied up. Alright, so for this, typically I'll show you the dish that I use because the finished product is in it. And it's an 8x8 pan, but it's one of the deeper ones. This is just a disposable foil pan because I'm going to have two of these. I figured I can probably give one away or put it in my freezer. So I chose a foil pan. So it is a deeper pan. It's not as deep as the other one, but I think it'll be okay. I just didn't have two of those pans. So I'm going to turn that off and pour this in. Get every last drop of goodness. Are you leaving now? Okay. Bye. Have a great time. Okay, so I have this in the bottom, and now we're going to add our mashed potatoes to the top. Almost finished here. Oh good, and that fan went off, so I feel like I'm not competing with that noise. But that is my induction cooktop, and that allows me to be able to do stuff right over here in front of the camera because it's kind of dark over in that corner and it's kind of small, so trying to figure all that out is difficult. Okay, so I'm just going to even this out here. And then, at this point, we put it in the oven. Is it Kim or Mark watching? Hello. Thanks for joining. I'm just finishing up. So I put this in the oven at 350 for 35 minutes. And then, hi Kim, it was so good to see you. So for 35 minutes, and then want to let it rest for about 10 minutes. But typically when I first take it out of the oven, I will put the grated Parmesan cheese on it, and that's optional, you don't have to have that. But I think it adds a lot of flavor. So I'll put that on first, and then like when it just comes out of the oven, and then it will melt a little bit. Another option is you can put that on and stick it back in the oven, and it will just kind of, you know how Parmesan melts just a little bit and gets almost a little like golden crispy texture. You can do that too if you want to. So we set this aside, and then I will show you the finished dish. So this time I didn't put it back in, and I didn't get the cheese on right away. So we'll see if it was hot enough to still melt. Yeah, the cheese isn't melted on here right now, but this is the type of dish that I usually use. You can see it's an 8x8, but it's much deeper and holds a lot. And it looks like my gravy was spoiled a little bit over on the edges, so that's something you can keep an eye on too. When you see that bubbling, then you can take it out. So, but being that I was doing more than one thing, I didn't take it out. So no big deal. And then if you want, you can take a little bit of parsley to garnish it, or you can take a little bit of rosemary, which I'm grabbing here just from my live plant. A couple of them have some dark tips, so I'm just sort of taking that off, but you know, and then that just adds a little bit of green, and it's beautiful, and it's going to be a good lunch and dinner. So with my husband not here, so we will probably, what I'll do is just reheat this. So, oh, thanks, Kim. I did too. Oh, two. Oh, okay. Mary, I must have missed another one of your comments. Oh, yeah, okay, Mary, thanks. Thanks for clarifying that. You know, sometimes I just say, it's the blonde hair, right? But it's not natural, so I really can't say that. So, anyway, that is what we have today. I hope that you all have a splendid St. Patrick's Day and weekend and week, and I will be back next week, Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just go ahead and like or follow my page, and then you'll be notified when I am live. And if you share this video to your wall, it'll be easy for you to come back and if you need to see anything again or find anything out. So if I missed any of your comments, I will go back through, and if you have any questions in the future, or if you're watching this on the replay, you can still feel free to leave a comment, and I definitely monitor that and we'll get back to you. So you can find this recipe in the link. It's on my blog at artfrommytable.com. And I also have, if you like to get recipes and cooking tips to your inbox, then you can sign up for my cooking club, and I will send you stuff just once a week. So, all right, Kai, thank you. Green hearts, thumbs up. Thanks, guys. It was great to see you all. Thank you so much for tuning in and for all the thumbs up and the love. I love that. That just makes my day. You guys are awesome. So, I will see you next time, and have a great weekend. Bye.